Hey there. What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? JR Morales here coming at you live with the Attract, Teach, Monetize show. And I have a great one for you today. Today, we're going to talk about how to think strategically about your growth, right? And a lot of people really seem to struggle with these concepts. And it's one of the things that when I look at businesses in general and when I speak to my clients, I notice how many of them have a very straightforward sort of tactical approach. And when I say that, I mean it in the best of terms. What I mean is they only see the next step. They only see one thing happening in front of them. And I'm going to give you a good story around this that I think is going to make the point go a lot deeper. But before I get started, I wanted to tell you about this class I'm holding over at moralesclass.com, which is a deep dive into how we go into all this stuff, how we study offers, how we strategically attract better clients and more clients to your business quickly, even in difficult times. So go ahead and join that free class over at moralesclass.com. Now, back to what we were talking about. Now, I remember from a couple of years ago, right, where I read the story of there was this marketer that decided, and I'm going to say this was the 80s or 90s, right? But this guy decided to run something in the zirconia business, right? Which is like it's not counterfeit diamonds, but it's like imitation style diamonds, right? So he ran this thing, and he called it, I think it was like the Beverly Hills Diamond, and it was a big promotion that he ran. The guy ran it in the LA Times, right? I can't remember the name of it because it's two different people that did the same offer, but I want to show you how one of them was thinking strategically and why that means something to your business, right? So the thing that happened was that the first person went out and he bought a full page ad in the LA Times. And this was an ad that went out to everybody, basically advertising that they could get, a piece of this Beverly Hills Diamond or whatever it's called, that he could get it, they could get it in the mail, whatever. And, he got a lot of people to purchase. But ultimately, let's say he spent 50 grand on the ad and he barely got, 20 grand in sales or something like that. So he decided to not sell anymore and he stopped the business, right? Now, in comes the next person. The next person that went at the same market did a very similar offer, and this one may be the one that's actually called the Beverly Hills Diamond. I don't really remember right now. But the idea is very simple, right? What the guy did was he also ran a full page ad, right? When he ran the ad, that ad was going to a lot of people that wanted to buy jewelry and this kind of stuff. So what happened was he started getting orders right away for people who were interested in the topic. Now, incredibly enough, this person, even on the first offer, he got less sales than the first person, right? This second person doing this offer really didn't get as many sales as the other one up front, but he had a strategy. And the strategy, and this is where it comes in, right? The strategy was that with each piece that he would send back to people, that were sent back in a very nice looking little bag, and it was all very nicely decorated, and it was very taken care of. He also included a letter, right? And he included a catalog. And the letter that he included was this thing that said pretty much, hey, thank you for buying this, and I hope you enjoy it. As you can see, the shine and the sparkle that it creates is amazing, and so on and so forth. And then he would say, listen, most of our clients, when they see it, and they notice that because it's so powerfully, intensely bright right now, and it's because it's very dense, that means that it's not that big, right? And a lot of clients, when they notice that it's not as big as they thought it would be because it's of the actual density of the material, they want to look for something bigger. So here's what I want to do for you, okay? If you'd like, okay, I would like to give you twice the amount that you already spent as credit towards a future purchase of a bigger item in the catalog that I've enclosed. Now, imagine what happened with these people, right? They get their thing in the mail, right? They open it, they see it's a little thing, but they have a letter that says, hey, listen, this is like this, but you already spent this much. I'm going to give you twice that if you buy something bigger. And of course, in the catalog, he had full-blown products, fully decorated things. It wasn't just the gemstone. There was like, rings and necklaces and stuff like that already mounted, right? But think about it. How powerful is that when you think of the strategy that you have with your market? Now, on the one hand, the first guy, right, let's call him, marketer A. Marketer A lost 20 grand. Marketer B turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. I think that 2 years after that thing, they had made over $25 million selling that, using that same approach. Why? Because it's not the idea of the instant sale, the one sale that I can generate now, but rather how am I thinking strategically about my market, okay? And that brings us to today. That brings us to why that information is even more relevant today, and I'll get to that in a second. But before I do that, remember to head on over to moralesclass.com if you want to go on a deeper dive on all this kind of stuff, because I'm going to cover a lot of these concepts in depth. I'm going to go on a deeper structure into how we do that to get clients and how you can do that and apply that in your business as well. So why is this relevant? Why is this especially relevant right now? Well, now is the time where a lot of the straightforward sales aren't really working anymore, right? People aren't really buying the big packages that they were before. But if you can think strategically about your market, right, you're able to think of things that you can do right now that can benefit you once all this crisis stuff is done with, right? Or at least, the hardest part of it is done with. And here's what I mean by that, right? Why would you want to, at this point, keep trying to serve the market the same way, right? Let's say with the same offering that you have, when you know that there's a crash crunch limitation right now that's happening, all the unemployment that's going around, all these things that are currently in our market, the market's feeling it. So if we're thinking strategically instead of tactically, what we're going to do is we're going to think of what happens, let's say, 2-3 months from now, when we're mostly over this crisis and at least adapted to it. And now we're operating at a different level. What should I really be focusing on? And the key here is that you want to focus on expanding that audience, right? You want to expand your buying audience. Just think about it. You want to expand your audience in general, but you want to expand that buying audience because a buying audience is an audience that, the moment that they create that bond with you and have that first transaction with you, it's a lot easier to get that second and third transaction, as long as you obviously deliver great value and you do it because you actually enjoy doing it, which is obviously what we cover in moralesclass.com. Now, if you think about today, right, how can you do this for your business? Well, a lot of people, what I've told them to work on is on creating a very simple, no hassle offer, right? Something very straightforward, very easy to assemble, very easy to consume, low priced. Why low priced? Because you want to expand that audience. So right now you're in the business of getting more buyers of your stuff, right? If these buyers of your stuff are now attached to you or you're building a bond with them, right, you can get a lot more stuff done. So this is the time to pivot into this. And I call this kind of like a perfect pivot. I was thinking about a name, like a cool little name to come up with that for this, but it's like the perfect pivot is to think, how am I going to serve these guys for the next 90 to 180 days? Like, what am I doing to serve them during that time? It may be that you start with a low-priced offer, something to just get them intro to you, a first, try me out type of offer, and then you take them up another level. Now, a lot of the people that work with funnels and have done this kind of stuff with the upsells, they usually think of the upsells in the terms of the upsells of the stuff that you're selling at the point of sale that first time, right? So it's like, how can I get the people to buy the most stuff in that first compressed period of time? But what I'm talking about is deferred over time, right? If you look at it like, okay, let's say month 1, they buy this. Now in month 2, I want to sell them this. Then in month 3, I want to sell them this. Now you can see beyond, and you are making offers to these people that are coming through. This is how you can think strategically when the rest of your market is thinking tactically, right? They won't be planning for what happens in the next 2-3 months. What they'll actually be doing is just focusing on getting the right now sale. This moment that we're living in right now is a perfect moment for expanding your audience. And I'll show you exactly how to do that and a lot more in my free class called moralesclass.com. Just head on over to MORALES class.com. I love spelling my name. moralesclass.com. Just head on over there. You're going to check it out and you're going to notice immediately, right, how thinking strategically right now is a great opportunity for you, because you get to sell your audience stuff, but you get to think in advance. So you're basically mapping out what's about to happen, the different challenges they go through, how you're going to make your messages come across, and then you're able to sell easily because guess what? You've been building up to that the whole time. So again, moralesclass.com. This is JR Morales for the Attract, Teach, Monetize show. Signing out. I'll see you on the next one.